That's a Tom question, probably. What do you think, Tom? Huh?
There's no way just to attach her to your loan without originating a new loan and refinancing and paying off your old loan. There is a way, however, to put her on title to the property. You may add anybody to the title at any point.
That's correct.
And create ownership there for her, and thereby owning part of the property. She will enjoy the equity, but she's not going to be obligated on the debt.
Yeah.
Well, and that's fine. So
Okay.
how do you go about putting someone on your title then?
You may call a real estate attorney,
Yeah.
and they'll walk you through that process.
Okay.
Actually, go back to the title company that you closed at and ask them to do it for you. They probably won't even charge you for it.
Okay, great.
Thanks for your call, Michelle.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
FICO. You know, I've got a copy of a report one of my clients shared with me a long time ago, and I dug it out of my old files, and I brought it here, Rod, just for you.
Okay.
Everybody always talks about scoring systems. And on this little report right here, I've got three things. I got an Empirica score, I've got Fair Isaac score, and I got a Beacon score. And of course, every one of these little things have something to do with too many recent credit checks. So the score varies as high as 700 down as low as 640. Three different scoring systems. I'm not sure if our guests understand all these different scoring systems, and that only one might be relevant to real estate, one might be relevant to a car purchase, and maybe one to home appliances.
Yeah. Well, let me go back to what you're talking about are exactly the same thing. At Experian, for instance, we call the Fair Isaac risk score model that we apply the Experian Fair Isaac model. The same model at TransUnion is called the Empirica model, and the same model at Equifax, pardon me, is called the Beacon model. Why they have different names, I'm not sure, but they're the same thing.
So why do they not put their own company name in front of them, just like you just did for me just now? Because that would help me as a real estate agent, and also my buyers, I think. They would know that, well, that's TransUnion's deal, and that score's low, therefore I need to go to TransUnion. Because right now, you look at this report, you don't know who to go to find out how you can get that low score up high, and why there is a difference in that, even if it's the same type of model.
Right. Well, you'll need to talk to TransUnion and Equifax as to why they named them that. I don't know.
Okay.
In terms of differences, I suspect that with a wide range, there may be more than just inquiries or accessing your credit history there. The information reported to each credit bureau may be slightly different. Not all lenders report to all three, so you may have accounts that appear on one that don't on another, for instance, or, and that may have an impact.
And that's why, Tom, when you do a credit analysis for a home mortgage, you have a combined credit score, or you look at three credit bureaus and they're merged together, don't you?
That's exactly right. And typically for most lenders and most programs, the middle score is the one that's utilized because the high is thrown out and the low is thrown out. The middle score is the one that's utilized in granting the credit decision.
So it's a different credit service that actually collects all that information.
A credit service, yes, for our industry that pulls from the bureaus such as Experian and Equifax.
Well, you know, if I may, and that raises another good point, that a third party may combine all three credit reports and then they apply the risk score model. So it doesn't always start with the credit bureau.
Let's talk a little bit about what's happening on the internet these days.
Okay.
You know, in this business, I pulled from the internet, myfico.com. You should know how your credit score is, how to get a better score, Yahoo Finance, get a free copy of your online Equifax credit report, 30 days of credit check monitoring service. Equifax, all credit scores are not alike. Score Power is the only online service that provides the access to your FICO credit score. Take action if you want to plan on major life events. I mean, it goes on and on. Here's one from Next Credit, the credit expert, okay? That's a credit card company. Unlimited access to your Experian credit history, up-to-date credit score, and of course, your system too has something online too. Well, when we come back, we're going to get into this scoring process a little bit deeper. We're going to take a look at what's happening with the weather these days, though. Be right back. Welcome back to your Real Estate Advisor on TXCN. We're in studio talking about mortgages and a lot of other such things. And right now I want to talk to Tanya. Tanya, you're from the Killeen area.
Yes.
How you doing, Tanya? How can I help you today?
Well, we have a timeshare property that we purchased, and we've been really trying to get rid of it, but every time we try to get rid of it, it's like high cost from different real estate companies that, you know, that will sell it. And I was just wondering, how can we get rid of it without paying $1,500 for someone to sell it for us.
Yeah, in other words, you want to do it without a real estate commission.
Yes, plus it was the real estate commission, plus we had to give them money to put it out on the market. It was just a whole bunch of finances.
See, unfortunately, in the timeshare industry, that's a very specialized, segmented portion of real estate, and there are people, realtors, that just do nothing but timeshare. So they have a cost of business, and their business is cyclical. You know, very high in the summertime in certain parts of the country, and very high in the wintertime. For instance, Colorado would be high in the wintertime. So you're probably not going to be able to get around their fee system unless, of course, you did for sale by owner. And there are some for sale by owner websites you can go to. FSBO.com, I believe, is one of them. You certainly can put some ads in a local paper. That's probably what you're going to have to do, though. You're going to have to do your own, take your own initiative and do your own advertising. And I would try the internet a little bit. That might help you out.
Okay, are there like special sites? I know you mentioned
if you go to my website, TXCN.com, you may catch a few there, but you certainly can email me, and I'll research that a little bit more for you when I have more time, and I'll give you a list of them. But FSBO.com, FSBO.com is certainly one of them.
Okay.
Thank you for calling.
No, thank you.
Bye.
Okay,
let's get back to the topic at hand here. Rod, accessing credit. A lot of things are happening in the credit industry, and I'm sure my viewers have had their credit accessed, and they don't realize they've had it accessed, and they don't know why sometimes. For instance, a couple of things that happen is if you go out looking for a job, your employer has the right to access your credit bureau file. If you apply for insurance policy in excess of $175,000, the insurance company can do that. Auto insurers now are also accessing credit. Why do they have the authority to do something like that? Because that's not buying a house or buying a car. Explain that to the viewers.
Sure. We'll start with employers because they're a unique situation. In order for an employer to access your credit history, you must give them written permission. And the law is very specific in exactly how that must be done.
So it must be on the credit application somewhere, right?
No, for the employer specifically. So when you apply for a job or a promotion at your job, if you're an accountant and you're going to manage the company's finances, for instance, they want to know that you can manage your credit well and your finances well. So that's an important issue for them. But for them to check your credit history, they have to present you with a piece of paper and get your signature that says they can do that.
So
it's
you know,
unique to employers.
So at least you know about it.
So you know that the employer's doing it.
Yeah.
With relation to insurance companies,
right.
It helps them know that you'll pay their premiums, and under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, they have a business ability to do that. Typically in the application it will say, maybe in the fine print, but if you look at it, you'll probably find that it says they're going to do that.
Let's go south for a second. Hold your thoughts here. We're going to El Paso. Teresa, this is Chet Wilke on your real estate advisor. How you doing?
Fine, thank you.
And tell me, what can we do to help you out today?
Well, I want to find out about getting rid of the PMI on my home.
Okay, that you can do for sure. I got rid of mine recently myself. I'm going to let Tom Gilly tell you how to do that. Thanks for calling. Tom, what do you think?
Teresa, are you currently in your home now? Or
yes, we are.
Owning, and you're wanting to drop the PMI that was originally set on your loan?
Yes.
Okay. What sort of program did you finance with? Was it conventional or was it FHA?
Conventional.
Okay. The conventional requirement is that once you've got 20% equity in the property, then you have the opportunity to negate the PMI. You will have to call your mortgage service lender, the company that you're making your payments to today, and typically they'll want you to go through their appraisal firm, and they'll give you that information. And if they can calculate that you've got 20% equity in the property, you should be able to reduce the PMI and get it off of your payment.
Thanks a lot, Tom. Teresa, I hope that helps you out a little bit.
Thank you.
When we come back, we're going to delve into some hard questions for Rod. I hope you could keep on giving us a call. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to your Real Estate Advisor on TXCN. We're talking credit issues with the Credit Bureau folks and with Tom Gilly with Network Funding. Rod, let me ask you a question. Why is information referencing bankruptcy of another person reporting on a credit file when they didn't have a bankruptcy?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Let's say a couple is married. Okay. The husband gets a bankruptcy, but the wife doesn't file.
Right.
And yet it's reported on her file as a bankruptcy.
Okay. The bankruptcy filing itself won't appear on her credit history. What will appear are any accounts that are joint accounts
Ah.
that are included on her credit history as well as his, and they will indicate, in fact, that account was included in bankruptcy.
Excellent. So we have to worry about that when we get divorced, don't we, huh?
And divorce is a big issue.
Big
yes.
issue, isn't it? Yeah? Okay, a couple of other questions that have been on my mind lately. Do you use consumer credit information to market consumer products?